technicality. Like,
I remember we used to go through and try to figure out who was gonna get the horses. Nowadays, the list is very short.
literally like one of four people.
Pretty much. If they're gonna stay in the U.S., it's not a long list of people that get those type of horses. I did good buying out of book one though. I bought a
Yeah.
horse named Genuine Devotion for 90,000. You know what I would do? I'd go through book one and I would look for horses that didn't look like they fit in book one. Horses that weren't by, um, you know, the top tier stallions, or didn't have a huge pedigree. And sometimes what people don't even realize is that um, a lot of the sellers don't necessarily want to sell in book one. They'd rather sell a little bit later in the sale when the pedigrees drop off a little bit and the physicals as well. I mean, Keeneland runs a tiered system where the first book is supposed to have the very best horses, the ones that are rated the very, very, very best, and, down to the sixth book, which is horses that just don't have much pedigree, or if they do have pedigree, or have a leg that's crooked or something, or is a miniature horse. But a lot of people thought that they would sell better, not in the book, the first book, because they would get a little bit lost in the shuffle, where you're getting compared to
Right.
horses that
In
have
a big fish in a small pond.
right. And it got to the point where Keeneland kind of had to compel people to put horses in book one. Um, you know, kind of do deals with them. So I did pretty good though. I didn't buy very many, but I was looking for the ones that the people in book one just wouldn't be interested in. The agents wouldn't be interested in because they'd have a hard time selling them because they didn't have the pedigree. Um, and a lot of the buyers wouldn't be that interested because they would think, well, I could get that type of horse, the next 1,000 hips. I don't need to spend my money on that kind of horse today. I can do that tomorrow or next week. But she wound up being a big a big home run because and she had a good racing career.
Hmm.
Um, she won a grade three, I think a grade two, a couple listed stakes. But what happens when you buy fillies? Sometimes you get really, really lucky, and we did for that one. Her brother the following year was a horse named Master Craftsman, who wound up being European Horse of the Year.
Holy cow.
So she went from having a light pedigree to being a half sister to European Horse of the Year. And the guy I bought her for, he wound up selling her for $1 million.
Oh wow.
So
Man, that's that's wild. The
she was by Rock of Gibraltar, first crop of Rock of Gibraltar, and she didn't. Her dam was young and did not have any stakes horse. I mean, she only had, I think, she was a second foal.
well, how'd she end up over here?
Um, well, she was a Kentucky bred,
Oh, okay. Huh.
but I just remember looking at her, thinking to myself, "Why is she in this book? She's got to be really good looking." I went to look at her, and she was good looking, but she wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting like a big, strong kind of uh, something that looked like Nest,
Okay. Yeah.
and she did not. I mean, she looked like a well-made but not particularly like outstanding kind of turf filly. And I mean, like I said, I got her for 90,000, which the average at that year was like 350 or something like that. So it was just a case of I think I was betting against the BBA,
Hmm.
British Bloodstock Agency. I think they were the underbidders, and even them, they they had plenty of money, but I guess they just they thought they were going to steal it too. Dromoline, Jerry Dilger, who has since passed away. And he was very honest with me. He said, she's probably a book 3 horse, but she's a nice horse, and that's where the owner wanted her, and she's here to sell. So, anyways, you won't hear about those types. You'll hear about all the ones that spent 2 million and 3 million and 1 million, and
Well, I mean, just that
most
story
of which don't work
itself
out.
is interesting to, rather than listening to somebody say, "Oh, I felt it with this one, and I just wanted to spend 10 million." You you know, it's a better story. Your story, a lot better than that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, it wasn't as though I had an option.
Well,
I
yeah,
think my
that
budget for that
wasn't
sale
part
was
of the
like
story.
500,000. I was supposed to buy like 5 horses, so if I'd bought one for 400 the first day, we'd have been in the bargain bin for the rest of it. But there's always good horses come out of the sales like that. And yearlings are really, if you're looking for bargains, yearlings are where it's at. I just don't see too many golden training sales that produce a lot of horses that are bargains that go on and do a lot. I mean, and it does happen. I mean, it's not that it doesn't happen, but you see a lot more yearlings that are bought for 20, 30, 40,000 that turn out to be, stakes quality horses.